We ain't taking no more L's for real with this one. No more L's at all. Nothing becomes a waste anymore. This whole concept of, oh, that was such a waste of time. That was a waste. But if you're the type of person who finds a lesson out of everything, was it truly a waste? Because would you have learned what you learned in that waste of time if you didn't go through that waste of time? Quotation marks, if you're just hearing me. You probably wouldn't have gotten that lesson. There's some lessons that we only get while going through what we call a waste of time. And there's so many things we label as a waste of time, like waiting for something and it didn't like turn out how you wanted to. People, dealing with people, breakups, heavy friendships, things of that nature. We find people being a waste of time. We find, or a good example, you go through college, you major in public health, that just to realize, oh, actually, I want to do biology. So you might find that was such a big waste of time because I don't even want to do that anymore. But there's a lesson within that too, though. It's up to you to find it or to ask for help as well. There's nothing wrong with doing that if you genuinely struggle to find a lesson in certain stuff. Even with me, sometimes I don't immediately get the lesson out of it. Like, I have to really sit and think, okay, like, what is this teaching me? What is this offering me? How is this benefiting me? I have to really search sometimes. Some things come in an instant. Some things come a little bit later, especially in a high, intense emotional state. I know we can all relate to that, though, especially when you're really mad. You so mad, you at the point you want to cry because you're so mad or you're so sad. You're just so really you're so hurt. You're in this high, intense emotional state. Your irrational brain kind of overrides because the emotions are overriding. So therefore, the logic, it's hard to find the logic. So that's why it's a little bit harder to find a lesson in certain things. But there's nothing wrong with that. Give yourself the grace, the space to feel however you feel, and whenever you calm down and less intense, you're able to find it. There's nothing wrong with that. But back to the main point. A waste of time, that's not a thing. That's no longer a thing anymore. I think at this point, especially for me, I use that word on some just because I even find myself saying, oh, that was a waste of time. But truly, I'm mindful of how I speak. I truly know that wasn't a waste of time. There was a lesson in that. There was something to be learned in that. But I get it. There's some things that really just felt like a waste of time. The best example is a relationship or a friendship with somebody. You've been riding with somebody for so long and then boom, something happens. Like, wow, that was a waste of time. But was it? It really wasn't. If you want to look at it as a waste of time, you're choosing to look at the negative perspective. That is the God honest truth. Everything is a choice. You can choose to look at the lesson or you can choose to look at what you potentially lost. Quotation marks. Because anything truly a loss. I mean, the L's become silent when you start learning. The L's become silent. You know why? Because then you start earning. You get what I mean? If you know, you know. There's no true loss. There's no true failure. The only failure is death. The only loss is death. I'm not going to lie. We lost our life. We don't have another day to keep on fighting for something. Therefore, if you are alive and you are watching this, you are breathing, and you breathe tomorrow, the next year, the next decade, we ain't lose. We ain't never lose, bruh. You never lost. And that's great. That's a great thing. But you have to make the choice to look at things that way. You become more satisfied with life as well when you look at the lesson of everything. Everything becomes valuable. Everything becomes meaningful. That means there's nothing that could be done to you, because this is good for the future. This is not only good for the present moment. This is also great for your future, because now you understand there's nothing that's going to happen to you that wasn't meant to happen to you. Good or bad. As humans, when something good is happening, we have an easier time coping with it. We don't even have to cope anyways. Because when we think about the word coping, people only say cope during like a time of distress or tragedy. When good things are happening, We don't really question it. We don't really feel the need to even find a lesson of the goodness that's happening, because that's a state that we're comfortable with. It's the uncomfortable states. It's the negative moments. It's the hard times that kind of put us more in a position. But this is the best time. Those hard times are the best times. Sorry, cough drop. I'm shook. Those hard times are the best times to find a valuable lesson. Those are the best times. If anything, if you have to choose any time to do it, if that's the only time for you to do it, let that be the only time. That is the best time to do it. I think we should also try to find a lesson out of good times as well. However, like during a rough time, that is the best time to do it, because it makes it more meaningful. You become more satisfied in life. You get to adapt the mindset that everything's happening for me, not to me. It takes a minute to get to this point. And another thing this helps with is accepting the fact that life is unfair. I want to make a video on that too, because that's something, for me, it took me a lot of years to understand that. I think anybody can relate to that. I kind of wish, I would never forget, I watched a show. It was like four quotes, and it was like, which two quotes out of these four, it was like a survey on people. And the question was, which of these two quotes out of the four do people wish that they understood when they were younger, or that they were told that when they were younger? And one of the quotes was that life is unfair. I wish I understood that sooner than later. I'm glad I understand that now, because I know some people are older, still trying to make things fair. And me, when I can, if it's in my control, I like to try to make things fair when it comes to like friend groups or making this decision making. I like to make things fair if it's in my control, but I also accept the fact that there's situations that might happen in the future, things that are going on right now, and things that happened in the past that were completely unfair, whether you were on the right side of it or the wrong side of it. That's just what it is. But within that, the bad, unfair moments, if you try to find a lesson out of it, it doesn't hurt as bad. Because a lot of things hurt a lot because it was unfair, and there was nothing that you did to cause this unfairness, but it's happening. And that alone is a lesson. Something unfair happening to you is probably happening to you so you can understand that this is how life is. This is probably an opportunity for you to accept this is how life really is. You see what I mean? You become more content with your experiences. And yes, even today, there's some situations I can put in. It's just like, why? I don't even want the character development right now. I'm so... It just be too much sometimes. It'd be a lot, especially if it's something like really emotional. It's like, I don't even want the character development right now, but I guess it's something I have to learn. Yeah. Sometimes we get exactly what we wish for too. Because like if you pray, y'all know the saying, like y'all pray for patience, you're going to be put in situations where you need to practice your patience. Or if you're praying for less anger issues, you're going to be in situations where that's going to cause you to be upset. Whatever you pray for, you're going to be tested. Simple as that. And let it be a part of your testimony. You know what I mean? However, what I'm trying to say is, sorry about that. What I'm trying to say is, we get the opportunity to find something meaningful in it, even if it's hard, even if we didn't ask for it. That's what I was saying. Sometimes I don't even ask for it. Sometimes you really do get tired. So especially if it's like a situation back to back, like you can't catch a break. Like there's like a daily situation or position that you're put in, and it requires you to find the lesson of it because it's just so shitty. Like, yes, you could be put in a shitty situation every single day. It's annoying. It's rough. However, you try to find the lesson in it, you get to see the pattern recognition within it. And it gives you the opportunity to grow. It gives you the opportunity to respond differently, and which is a great thing. That's another reason why it's super important to find the lesson out of everything, because it gets to broaden your mind. You literally become a wiser person. And when you become more wise and you get to find the alternative reasonings on why things are happening to you, you increase your awareness. And once you're aware, you can do what you can to work on it. Because a lot of things happen to us, or a lot of things have happened to us, but we're not aware of it. There's a lot of behaviors. Think about even the behaviors that we have, the everyday actions, the things that we feel. We feel certain things. We don't know why. We act in a certain way. We don't know why. However, using this technique to find the lesson, to understand why certain things are happening to you, why you're feeling how you're feeling, that gives you the chance to increase your awareness on it, and then you can do something about it. Increasing your awareness is so important because you cannot change what you don't know. You might see somebody, they might act in a way that you don't find favorable, that you don't think is right, but they truly might not think it's wrong. They truly might not even know it's wrong. If I grew up stealing, nobody's telling me stealing is wrong. I'm always stealing. Someone might see me stealing, like I get caught when someone might see me stealing, might not say nothing, but they're in their mind, it's like, man, what they're doing is so wrong. Who's to say that I don't think what I'm doing is right? I probably think what I'm doing is right. What do you mean what I'm doing is wrong? Like, I don't have no food, so I'm stealing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have money, so I'm going to steal. So you over here looking at me like I'm wrong. I think I'm 100% right. You see what I mean? But let's continue that example. I'm operating in a way where I'm thinking, oh, I like something, let me take it from somebody. But I'm not broadening my perspective and thinking, oh, wow, I'm taking something away from somebody else that they worked hard for. And I'm not thinking about how that may impact them. And because that impacts another individual negatively, that is part of the reason why stealing in the first place is wrong. Because you're wrongfully taking something from somebody that they worked for, that they have gained, that they just simply have ownership of. Forget if they work for it or not. This is theirs. This is what they have ownership of. And it's not right for me to just come and take it, even though I'm in a more unfortunate position than them. You see what I mean? But stopping and taking the time to look at a perspective outside of my own allows me to increase my awareness. And this is what we do when we find the value in everything. When we're trying to find the lesson in everything. It helps us broaden our perspective. It helps us operate in a way that's outside of the one perspective that we see. Y'all don't even understand. So many people look at life through one perspective, through one lens. That's why it's important to have other people. Because if you really do struggle to find a perspective out of the one that you're thinking of, ask for help. Talk to a friend. Get a therapist if it's that serious. Or even go to ChatGPT. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what perspective out of this one? And that's an awareness component as well. You even being aware of the fact that you are only operating from one perspective is a great start. It is a great start. You being aware of the fact that every time something didn't work out for you is negative, you only see it as a negative way, that is a great start. You see, oh, wow, I'm only looking at this from one point of view, which is, oh, I took a loss. Oh, I had a waste of time. You realizing that you look at certain experiences as a waste of time is great, because you're aware you are operating from one perspective. Now you have to ask yourself, what am I going to do to operate from a perspective outside of mine? Because even think about us and God. We have our own way of thinking, and then there's God's way of thinking. In the Bible, it literally says, do not lean on our own understanding. Because, yes, I will admit, there's some situations our own understanding is what's best. I'm not going to say there's no situation out here like us leaning on our own understanding can't help you. However, I think it's very self-destructive if you do that all the time. In every single situation. Because there's some situations where like your perspective is the best perspective and not the other person's. And there's going to be some situation their perspective is better than yours, or you both have good points in your perspectives and y'all can come together into dependence. You know what I mean? But we can't just lean on our own understanding and the way we look at things, especially if it's negative. Like, really ask yourself, is this situation all negative? It could be the worst thing possible. Like, somebody could have died. Yeah, it's deep. Something traumatic could have happened to you. Somebody could have betrayed you. You didn't get your job. You have a financial struggles. Whatever the worst thing is happening in your life, Yes, there is an alternative way to look at it. But it's up to you to make the choice to look at it how you want to look at it, all right? But take it from me, like, if you find the value of lessons, everything will become meaningful. You will feel like everything is falling in place because you know there's something to be learned out of everything. So therefore, you're not even tripping as bad. I promise you, you'll be more content with life because you have an understanding, like, there's things to learn from everything. So nothing is truly ever wasted. Thank you for tapping in, though. Hope to catch y'all next time.